Hi, hey, hello, and welcome to another episode of The Educated Fan. My name is Brandon. I'm joined here by your co-host, my best friend, buddy. Happy Mother's Day to you.
Happy Mother's Day to you.
Happy Mother's Day to my mother, to Andrew's mother, to all the mothers listening, to HEIDI REYBROUCK, and just all moms, except for the shitty ones.
Sure, let's go with that.
So hello, Andrew. We're here. This is a big episode.
It's going to be a fun one.
And
episode 74.
We thought maybe it was going to work out to be a short episode. We think that every week, and then all of a sudden, Thursday, Friday, Saturday roll around, more news. So yeah, surprise, it's probably going to be another long one. So buckle in, get ready. Andrew, anything you'd like to say before we get started?
Just happy Mother's Day to my beautiful mother, Laura Moore. Got to visit with her, my grandparents, and see all the family today. So it was a nice day. Got to celebrate there. Happy Mother's Day to my fiance. She's a dog mom, so there we go. And I'm excited to talk some Colts. We have a special guest on today. We got a little fun way to cap off the draft season at the end of the episode. It's going to be a fun episode today.
What's up, Skylar? Glad you're here. So, Andrew, let's just dive right into some Colts news. We have some more news on the offensive tackle front, possibly. Recently, the Colts brought in former Chiefs offensive tackle Eric Fisher for a visit. Popped an Achilles in January, but possibility we could be looking at Eric Fisher signing.
Yeah, so it's not really funny, but it's kind of coincidence. Eric Fisher tore his ACL on the same day that Dio Odangbo tore his ACL back on January 24th. So the Colts had
ACL or Achilles?
Achilles, I'm sorry. Achilles, a big difference there. Yeah. Big difference in timeline as well.
For sure.
So the Colts had Eric Fisher in this week, like you said, starting left tackle for the Kansas City Chiefs, was the number 1 overall pick. When he came out, very, very solid left tackle, former Pro Bowl left tackle. And when he's fully healthy, he's a top 10 left tackle in this league by far. Only thing is that Achilles injury, it's tough. It's now for an offensive lineman, we have had guys come back from Achilles injuries and perform well, make Pro Bowls, and then continue to have a career. It's just, do the Colts want to take on that risk? Do they think that he could come back mid-season? So we haven't really heard word on how his physical went, but that physical, that when the Colts doctors get to really examine him and see how his Achilles is doing in his rehab, that's absolutely huge, because if he's not going to be back by, I think, maybe mid-season, I don't know if it's really something the Colts would really want to explore. They would probably want to see and kind of gauge his recovery before they make a decision. Mm-hmm. But if Eric Fisher can come back for the middle part of the season, you start Sam Tevy at left tackle next to Quentin Nelson. And then if Eric Fisher can come back around that October, November mark, middle of the season, I think he'd be a pretty good addition for the Colts.
Yeah, and Eric Fisher is a good offensive tackle when healthy. A very good offensive tackle. And like you mentioned, if he's coming back mid-season or somehow any earlier, I think Sam Tevy's a good enough option, like you said, next to Quentin Nelson. There's a big difference in playing for the Chargers on a terrible offensive line across the board, pretty much, and then playing on one of the better offensive lines in the league next to the best offensive lineman in the league. I think Sam Tevy would benefit from that a lot, and I think that he probably is good enough, to get through until Eric Fisher comes. Who knows? Maybe he's good enough to survive a whole season if it came down to it. But I think he's at a big advantage sitting next to Big Q.
Yeah, and I think that's what the Colts are banking on. I think when you hear the Colts say that they're confident that Sam Tevy can play starting football, it's not just that Sam Tevy can be a good left tackle, a lot of it is because you have Quentin Nelson next to him, and Quentin Nelson can help out a lot. If Sam Tevi is deficient or he can't handle somebody one-on-one, you can have Quentin Nelson go over there to help him. But I think, I mean, obviously Pro Football Focus isn't the end all be all, right? But Eric Fisher last year had a 80 overall grade from Pro Football Focus, which I think was top 10 among offensive tackles in the league. Anthony Costanzo's grade last year was about a 73. So, I mean, take that with what you may. Like I said, not always the best indicator, but it's kind of a general indicator that if Eric Fisher could come back healthy, we'd be getting a very solid left tackle.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. And then some other news stirring, Andrew, before the Eric Fisher stuff, really, Colts have also been showing significant interest in former Bears offensive tackle Charles Leno Jr., who's caused quite the stir on Twitter. Hint, hint, coming soon. Which, I mean, I don't think he's going to be at the level of tackle that Eric Fisher is, fully healthy, and I think the fact that Leno was really an available option before we heard anything about Eric Fisher, and we haven't signed him yet. You know what I mean? The second this Eric Fisher stuff popped up, it was like, oh, okay. So I think the Colts obviously are showing that they believe Fisher's the better player if they're considering, you know, taking him for half a season over Leno for a full season. But everything I've heard about Leno, actually, I don't want to say everything because it's been kind of mixed between what Bears fans say, you know, but there's plenty of idiots that think Anthony Costanzo wasn't good either, that call themselves Colts fans. So you can't really go based on that. Andrew, I think you've got some more numbers and whatnot to back up what we know about him.
So Charles Leno Jr., he was the starting left tackle for the Chicago Bears for the past 7 years. So he's got plenty of experience on that offensive line. He was a 7th round pick for the Bears and really climbed his way onto the roster and then proved himself to be a starting caliber left tackle. And again, I'll go kind of back to Pro Football Focus, their grades for the season as like a general gauge. Last year, Charles Leno Jr. was around a 74, so just a little bit better than what Anthony Costanzo graded out as. So you can kind of tell what kind of player he's like. He's very durable. In those 7 years as a starter, he never missed a game. He started every single game at left tackle for the Chicago Bears, was very, very durable. A guy that, I mean, I've seen some comments from some Bears fans online, like you said, they didn't really like him. They said that he seemed lost at times. But then I talked to a couple Bears fans that I know, and they said that he was solid. He was a guy that was always there, someone that was one of their better players along the offensive line. So again, it's just kind of who you talk to amongst the fan base. But when you look at the tape, there he does have some good moments. He's pretty good in pass protection. I'd say he's a little bit better than Sam Tevi in the pass protection. Definitely in the run game, he's quite a bit better. He's a lot stronger than what a Sam Tevi would be. So I think if the Colts did bring in Charles Leno, that'd probably be the starter all year. You'd have Charles Leno step in to next to Quentin Nelson, and you'd probably can count on kind of that same thing where you can expect his level of play to go up a little bit. Now, you might ask, why did the Bears release him? Well, the Bears drafted Tevin Jenkins. We had talked about him on the show, and they're expecting to move him over to that left side to play left tackle. And Charles Leno Jr. was making around $8 or $9 million, and the Bears are very strapped against the cap. So it was more of a cap casualty than anything. Charles Leno Jr.
It's one of my favorite NFL terms, cap casualty.
It's life of the NFL. Character-wise, he fits exactly what the Colts need. He's a guy that's very involved in the community, very charitable, a guy that everybody loves in the locker room. So as far as a fit within the Colts culture in that locker room, he'd fit in seamlessly. So if things don't turn out right on the Eric Fisher end, whether it is the physical or if just the interest isn't there, two sides can't come to an agreement, Charles Leno Jr. could also be an option, but the Colts can't really wait too long on that because
there's other teams out there that need left tackle.
There's other teams out there, and Leno is visiting the Washington football team next week. I've heard that the Denver Broncos are interested in him. So the Colts can't just wait around and really take their time with this Eric Fisher thing if they really want a legitimate shot at Charles Leno Jr. Even though I've heard that Charles Leno prefers the Colts, he's not going to be out there forever. So that's something to watch. Well,
yeah, of course he prefers the Colts. There's people singing to him, telling him to come to the Colts. what do you think's the best option? Like, if you were Chris Ballard right now, what do you think pans out better? Just getting Leno for a full season, or possibly Fisher for maybe half a season, maybe a little more?
Yeah, and it's tough because I don't have the medical information. That's the key in all this. It's gonna come down to the medical. If
he's gonna get healthy, he's gonna get healthy mid-season.
If Eric Fisher's rehab is going well and the Colts could see him contributing and being a starter around October or November, I think you probably see the Colts go that way, because and just reading the tea leaves of how they've talked about Sam Tevi, if the Colts really thought left tackle was that dire of a position, they would have made a huge move in the draft. But you can see just how the way they've acted, they don't really think it's that dire of a need.
Right.
They have a lot of confidence in Quentin Nelson to help out whoever's on that left side, and they think Sam Tevi could start there. So I think that's probably going to be probably what happens is Sam Tevi will start, and if they're comfortable with where Eric Fisher is, they'll sign Eric Fisher, bring him in, and have him start there midseason when he's ready. If not, then you could see them test the waters with Charles Leno Jr. But again, we're talking about the Colts here. They're not going to overpay. They're not going to panic. And I think even if they didn't get Charles Leno, they'd be very comfortable with Sam Tevi as a starting left tackle. And we'll see if that's the right move or not, because honestly, I don't think either one of us has watched too much Charger games to know that.
No.
So it's going to be a gamble either way.
Again, Andrew, you didn't answer the question. I said if you were making the decision, but I'm with what you think Chris Ballard wants to do. I like Tevi to start out the year. I mean, what have we already signed? 2 tackles.
We have Sam Tevi, Julian Davenport. We signed. He's not very good. I really don't like him.
Yeah.
Will Holden. I've got confidence in Will Holden, though. I like him a lot better than Julian Davenport.
Right. So I mean, if you're going to sign another one, why not sign a guy that you think is a top tackle in the league, that's available? You know, who knows, he's not maybe available this full year, but maybe you get him all season next year too. So,
well, yeah, and that's the thing too. I think we have to take in mind about this is Eric Fisher is only 30 years old. I mean, if he comes in and the last half of the season plays well for the Colts, Chris Ballard was in Kansas City when they drafted Eric Fisher. He knows Eric Fisher very well. Yeah. So if Eric Fisher can come in, maybe the Colts give him a longer contract, and he becomes the Colts don't have to spend a draft pick on him on a left tackle next year. They have Eric Fisher for a few years down the road.
Yep. Some more Colts news, Andrew. Tight end Mo Alley Cox has officially signed his rookie free agent tender.
Restricted free agent tender.
You fucking get it. Which that's good news. We expected that. I think Mo has just progressed. I mean, just huge each year.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited for another year with him. Colts signed defensive end Kwity Paye, rookie. These are all the rookie signings, basically all the draft, not all of them, but some of the draft picks basically signing. So Kwity Paye, defensive end Dayo Odengbro, safety Sean Davis, wide receiver Mike Strawn. I said that right, didn't I?
Yeah, you did. Good job.
It's Strachan in how it's spelled. So, and offensive lineman Will Fries to their rookie deals. There's a couple names missing, including Sam Ellinger, whose brother passed away this week. So thoughts and prayers out with him and his family. Him and his brother had already lost their dad, and now I haven't seen any details, but thoughts and prayers to them.
I haven't either, but it's pretty tragic. They found his brother's body off campus, and it's a tragic situation.
Another Texas player. They played together in Texas, so
definitely think about him.
Colts undrafted free agent signings. Wide receiver Tarek Black. You know what? Hold on. I'm shitty at my production job at the moment. This is just how it's going to go today, apparently. Got to get on my toes here. Colts undrafted free agent signings, wide receiver Tarek Black, linebacker Anthony Butler, running back Deion Jackson. That one was an interesting one to me because I guess he had talked to the media or something and said, that he knows our running back room is packed full. He knows he's probably not making the team in the Colts running back room, but he mentioned looking forward to being able to learn from the pros that are our running back room. So good for him. You want to cut me off there? Or you want me to finish?
I was just going to say Deion Jackson was definitely a hot commodity for the undrafted free agents. He said his agent had about 25 teams that had contacted him about it, and the Colts gave him a pretty big signing bonus to come in. So the Colts definitely wanted to see him. I don't know if that's really an indication that they're thinking about him, because it's going to be hard to crack that running back room. But he can definitely show what he's got on this Colts team with how they use their running backs.
Where'd he play?
I think he played at Duke. If I
don't want him, never mind. throw him out the door. Linebacker Isaiah Kaufusi and wide receiver Tyler Vaughns. I love the 2 wide receiver pickup here.
Tyler Vaughns was a teammate with Michael Pittman Jr. at USC, so he was pretty excited to have him come aboard.
Yes, we love us some Michael Pittman Jr. too. So a happy him is a happy us. Yeah, I missed another graphic too, but you know what? We live and we learn. I'm a professional here, okay? But even I have my limits. Colts signed linebacker Malik Jackson. Where did he play? That's a big name, isn't it?
He's been all over the place. So he was drafted the same year in 2018, same year as Darius Leonard.
Okay.
But I think he's played in Cincinnati. He's played in LA with the Chargers. So he's been all over the place. I mean, he's very athletic, but he doesn't have much to show for it. He's always been a special teams player. So he's going to have kind of an uphill battle for a roster spot, because the Colts linebacker group is pretty stout as well.
Yeah. Yeah, Andrew, so I added this question to the outline here today. I thought about this earlier this week. I finally am starting to write down things I think about during the week. So Jacob Eason, now in competition with Sam Ehlinger, which we don't know if that's just to push Jacob Eason to be better him. If it is legitimate competition, if the Colts think Sam might actually overtake that backup role as a rookie fourth. What round was he? 5th?
Eason was in the 4th. Ehlinger was in the 6th.
I knew Eason was 4. Okay, 6. So even crazier, right? What are the chances we see one of these two guys, whoever wins the QB competition between the two of them for the backup role, what are the chances do you think we finally get to see, let's say Jacob Eason wins, we finally get to see Jacob Eason play some football in the regular season? Carson Wentz, although I argue against his injury proneness, his injuries have been kind of freak accidents or, like the absolute murdering from Clowney when he was already down and he dove down on his head. Obviously not his fault. But nonetheless, he's been injured a few times. Pretty serious injuries a couple times as well. Do you think we see Jacob Eason this year?
I don't think so.
I hope not.
I'm not gonna say that, because if the only way he gets in is you're right, if Carson Wentz gets injured, and the last couple years, I mean, Carson Wentz has been healthy. I mean, he in 2018 he did have a back issue, but that's really the only.
And 2019 was the concussion.
2019, he was healthy all year. And then the first series of the playoff game, Clowney comes and spears him in the head with his helmet and knocks him out. And I'm not going to put that on anybody. So
on Clowney.
Last year, I'm going to put on Clowney. But I mean, he was healthy all last year. I think the Colts with this offensive line, they can protect him. I know Frank Reich's going to be telling him to kind of take care of his body if he's out there in the open field. So really, I don't see it happening. But it is going to be fun to watch Jacob Eason and Sam Ehlinger battle it out in preseason, in training camp, first of all, because you're going to get to see him go head to head there, but also in these preseason games, because with only 3 preseason games, especially that last one is going to be literally Jacob Eason and Sam Ehlinger going back and forth, probably one half for each. So it'll be fun to watch. Yeah.
I just thought about it. I'm like, your mind just wanders this time of year. There's not all that much to talk about except signings and whatnot, right? So I don't know. It just hit me. I was like, man, I mean, this is probably the best chance Eason's had to play out of the last 2 years. I mean, he was third string last year. So this year, one injury could change the year for him. So, or Ellinger, who knows? With the next pick, season finale, the wrap up of the draft. This is the fun one, I think, every year is the one after the draft. So you get a little insight on this year's draft and not just like things leading up to it. Boy, what a good episode.
It was phenomenal. This is the best. This is always the best. Like you said, always the best episode every single year, because they show you inside the draft room what it was like. They even show little snippets of what they were talking about each player leading up to the draft. And I mean, it stuck out immediately to me how they talked about Kwity Paye and how fired up they were even before. Chris Ballard said, this guy's probably not going to get to us, but if he does, we're taking him right away. And when the Giants picked Kadarius Toney right in front of the Colts, do you see how fired up Chris Ballard was at that?
I was confused at first. I thought he was pissed off. I'm like, you didn't want Kadarius Toney, did you? I'm like, what's going on? I'm like, oh, no. That was a good, like, slant. It was weird. You couldn't see his face. You know, he turned away from the camera. It was a little confusing at first. I was like, no. He's happy about this. We want to pay. And they were talking about it. And I can't remember the Midwest scout. I can't remember his name.
Chad Henry.
Yeah, he was talking about, he goes, somebody brought up Kwity Paye, like, do you think Paye's going to fall? And he goes, don't say his name. Don't say it. Like, do not jinx it. That was funny. I thought it was really cool to see Irsay talking to the first few people that we picked, including those edge rushers. The more I hear about it, I mean, the more Jim Irsay is pumped up about those first two picks, two edge rushers. I mean, he wants to make a statement. He wants this team to transform into a team that football teams that are coming to play the Colts are not looking forward to it. Win or lose, they're not looking forward to playing against a hard-nosed Colts team.
Right. And you got to love Jim Irsay, one of the best owners in professional sports. He calls up Dio Odangbo and is talking to him on the phone. He said, I can't wait to make you a millionaire. What a baller, what a baller line. I can't wait to make you a millionaire. So that's absolutely awesome.
Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. It was a good episode.
I got a mid episode cookie for my fiance. Thank you.
Are you shitting me? I thought you were about to talk about breaking news. Skylar even thought you were about to give some breaking news earlier. And here I am. Breaking
my
news.
My fiance's making cookies.
Breaking news. Andrew has a cookie.
But yeah, I mean, it's just, I love this part of it because no other team gives you access like this. No other team has a series that shows you in the war room what it's like during the draft. And this Colts team it's just, ever since they started doing this, it just shows how fired up these guys are about their picks. And I think that comment you made about Jim Irsay and what the Colts want is exactly right. When you come to play the Colts, it's going to be a day. It's not going to be easy, and they want guys that will go and fire off and get the quarterback. And as a Colts fan, that's exciting to see when you know the success we had with Mathis and Freeney.
Yeah. Listen, guys. I don't know how many people that listen to the show watch With the Next Pick. I probably talked about this a lot, but now all 4 episodes are out. It's a shorter season. Okay. The total time between all these episodes is going to be less than an hour for you. I'm telling you, go to YouTube, go to the Colts page on YouTube, go to their channel, okay, and watch With the Next Pick. 4 episodes. Literally, just whenever you're getting ready to sit down and watch another episode of your show, put 1 episode of your show off and watch With the Next Pick. It's a lot of fun. You get some insight. You learn about the scouting process and the draft process, which was cool for me last year because I just didn't know much about it at all. So, yeah, it's a lot of fun. Good little learning experience and just a fun thing. Andrew, we're coming up on one of our big items from this episode.
A very special appearance by someone that made a lot of noise on social media this week.
All right. So in the interview that we'll show you, Alexa, shut up. I hate when that happens. Right during our show. Such a rude woman. So we're getting ready to show you a video by a nice woman named HEIDI REYBROUCK, and she became a little Twitter famous this week. And we'll show you the video that kind of made her a little Twitter famous this week first, and then we actually have about a 15-minute interview with HEIDI, where we talked about the video, talked about how she started doing it all, different stuff like that. Andrew, I don't remember what during the interview, so we pre-recorded the interview the other night because it's Mother's Day. She's got 4 kids. The woman's busy, so she's famous now. I don't remember what the numbers were on Tuesday when we recorded with her, but this video, between her original video and Ian Rappaport's quote tweet, is up to 1,500 likes and well over 200 retweets, and she's gained probably now over 300 followers. So, I mean, she... For a little Colts news, I mean, she popped off a little bit. Mm-hmm. She popped off a bit. So it's no Carson Wentz is coming to the Colts news, but it was fun. Basically, she sang a little video to Leno Jr. We just talked about him, Charles Leno Jr., basically asking him to come to the Colts. So we are going to show that video to you now, and then we'll come back, and then we'll head to the interview.
Charles Leno Jr., nice to meet you, can I spit a straight fact? Look around, there's a whole lot of talent out there, but none like you, you shine so bright. Yeah, I was wondering if you'd consider this. Hop on over to the best in the AFC, 'cause we won't give up without a fight. We just want you, Charles Leno Jr. We just want you to sign with us tonight. One more time, one more ask, come on now. Ooh, Charles Leno Jr. We just want you to sign with us tonight. Our offensive line is pretty fierce as is. Adding you would elevate it, heck yeah. Come over, man, to the Colts horseshoe. Yeah. I feel the game moving through your body. Looking at you, I can tell you want a ring. Just come to Indianapolis. When we heard the news, you're a free agent, they released it, acting like they didn't have a care. We knew right then that you were right. You and Big Q would put up a fight on our O-line. We want you to take down the opponent, and everything will be alright. One more time, one more ask, come on now. Ooh, Charles Leno Jr., we just want you to sign with us tonight.
So Skylar says he's in love. So sorry, she's a married woman, Skylar. 4 children. Leave her be. So yeah, just a fun little video. I mean, she apparently does a bunch of these. Not a bunch.
Yeah. So she was kind of the one that started the, well, she didn't start it, but when there was the hashtag bring TY home, she sang to TY saw it. And TY even said the support from the fans and the videos that were sent, it was part of the reason he came back. So she's done it for TY, for Quiddy Pay, for other Colts. So just someone that has a great talent and is using it to show their Colts fandom. So it's pretty awesome.
Yeah. She's a part of another Colts community on Twitter that I've not come across. I mean, like, she is active on Twitter. She's a very active woman. There's a lot of people that communicate with her. So yeah, she's a fun follow. But all right, here it is. 15-minute little interview with HEIDI.
Joining us now is a very special guest, an absolute Twitter legend as of this week, and huge Colts fan, HEIDI REYBROUCK. Welcome, HEIDI. It's very nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you.
So, HEIDI, today you had a tweet go kind of viral. This wonderful singing tweet that we played right before we had you on here today. And it went kind of big, but for those who don't know, she tweeted out a little singing video for Charles Leno Jr. About getting him to join the team. HEIDI is a wife, mom, fitness junkie, and I proclaim Twitter legend.
Okay.
So, first of all, we just want to ask, how long have you been a Colts fan? Easiest question.
That is an easy question. Well, I was in my undergrad years, so around like 2005, maybe.
Okay. Are you guys in the Indy area?
No, I'm actually in New York.
Oh
Western
man!
New York.
Wow.
So I'm in like Bill's Mafia territory.
Oh, hey, those are fun fans.
Way to represent the shoe in upstate New York. That's awesome.
Yes, exactly.
Love it.
So you got our attention because of your phenomenal singing videos to the Colts players. I mean, we saw it with the Bring TY Home. We've seen it with others, but really, how'd you come up with the idea of kind of just singing to the players, or kind of trying to get their attention on Twitter to come join the horseshoe?
Honestly, I was driving to pick up my youngest from preschool, and I was listening to the Hamilton soundtrack. And one of the songs that I did for the first one that I did, I just kind of, the lyrics just kind of popped in my head. I was like, oh, when I get home, I'm just going to do a quick little like VO thing. And just for fun, because they just pop into my head. So the Charles Leno Jr. one, I had just finished a workout, and all of a sudden it was like, boom, in my head. So I had to sit down and write all the lyrics out.
I am also a fitness junkie, and I come up with all sorts of ideas for the podcast while I'm at the gym, and I forget to write them down. So that becomes a problem frequently. Every week, Andrew's like, do you have anything you want to add? And I'm like, I thought of a lot of things this week and just completely spaced writing them down, and now I forget. Have you done a lot of these? How many are there?
It actually started when Giovanni posted about Wentz coming over to the Colts. And so there were a few of us who really wanted to make sure that he had a really great welcome team.
Mm-hmm.
And so I actually did a song for him, the Cup song, that I used for TY. So that's when it started. And then I did 3 songs for TY, like the Bring TY Home, and then one once he signed. And then I did 2 or 3 more after that for him now that he was here. And then, so then somebody asked me if I could make a specific song about Andrew Luck. And so then I did that, which was really fun to do. It helped me to break out of the norm the course that I was on, and helped me to see that I could kind of go outside of that.
Cool.
And then when we drafted Kwity Paye,
I saw this one.
Oh, absolutely.
I did a song about that. And then this one.
Awesome. They're a lot of fun. I saw the Kwity Paye one, and obviously the one from today. I have not seen the other ones, but I'm going to have to go back. But yeah, I mean, you answered my first one too then. Andrew.
Yeah. Well, the Bring TY Home ones was how I first kind of saw you on Twitter, and those were great. And I honestly, when TY was talking about coming back, he said that the hashtag Bring TY Home and the videos, it was a huge part of his decision to come home. So you and all the other fans that kind of joined it, it was just so cool to see how big of an effect that actually had on one of our favorite players in franchise history being able to come home. And did you really think that it would, when you were making these videos or just you had these songs pop into your head, did you think they would blow up as big as they did? Or did you really even want to, or basically were you just doing it just for the love of the Colts?
Correct. I was basically just doing it for the love of the Colts, for the fact that I don't often sing. And so I was like, if I can put those 2 together, then that would be fun.
Mm-hmm.
And it was very nerve-wracking, right? Because when you put yourself out there, as both of you truly know, it opens it up for all the criticism for you to be able to go back and listen to yourself and watch yourself and criticize yourself. So it's been quite the wild ride. And then when I started doing them, then people were like, oh, let's do this one, or can you do a song about that? And I thought that was really nice and cool.
No, they are a lot of fun. And yeah, we do know how it is. I remember recording our very first podcast. Heart was pounding, thumping, scary. And then, I mean, a year later, basically, is when we started doing the video stuff. And that first video episode was like heart pounding all over again. I think you're our third guest and that got me all hyped up and excited too. Yeah, we're small. It's okay. You definitely don't have to be nervous to be on here with us.
It's awesome. I love being here. Thank you so much for asking.
Yeah, for sure. So I wasn't so sure about Leno Jr. at first, because the first thing I saw when I heard that he was released, I went and checked, and everybody does this thing on Twitter now. They're like, Bears fans, tell me how good, tell me about him. And the Bears fans kind of lit him up. So then Andrew was like, no, Brandon, he's this, he's that. He's going to be decent. What do you know much about him? Like, have you looked into any of his stats, anything like that? Like, what made you chase after him specifically?
I'm like, if I'm going to sing a song about it, okay. I need to know a little bit. But I would say, just in general for me, compared to a lot of our fans, especially those who do podcasts and things of that nature, I kind of just casually like the Colts compared to all of you and the stats that and all of those things. But I truly am a huge fan. But
yeah, I'm more like you.
You are,
believe it or not. Yeah.
Yeah. So I like to see the character. It's really the top-down mentality, right? From the franchise in general. And it obviously hasn't always been that way, but recently, and how they go out, if they go out gracefully, that says a lot about them. What they say about the team when they're released says a lot about them. Looking at their stats is great. That gives you something, but past performance doesn't always guarantee the same future performance as well. So it could go either way, and putting your confidence and hope in a player, I don't think is wrong.
I agree.
Based on those things and the things that you hear and read about them. So that's kind of where I stand with that. That doesn't actually answer your question.
That's okay. It was close. I get it. I get your point. And the Colts have that not identical philosophy, but like with drafting, character plays such a huge role, because I think from top down, or our organization has a lot of character too.
Yeah. You certainly picked a great guy to write a song about and put that out there as a representation of Colts fans, because Charles is a phenomenal guy in the community. He's kind of almost a rags to riches story in the NFL, because he was a 7th round draft pick going to be the starter for 7 straight years for the Bears and playing pretty well. So I do know a couple Bears fans, and they're sad to see him go. And I think his personality, and it seems like his character traits would fit right in that high character locker room that Chris Ballard and Frank Reich and the Colts have built. So I think he'd be a great addition if the Colts are lucky enough to get him.
I saw that he DM'd you back too. Was that you? He DM'd back that I saw on Twitter? Or did someone send that to you? Did someone send your video to him and they responded?
Yeah. Someone sent her video to him in a DM.
Yes. And then he responded, but to Rap's post.
Got it.
Yeah.
It was the crying laughing face. I don't know if that's good or not, but I guess he saw it. So.
Oh, that's definitely good. He sounds like he was flattered, and it's awesome to see.
Yeah, the Ian Rappaport thing was crazy, huh? That's probably what caught your attention the most today.
Oh, it definitely did.
Yeah. Well, if you're listening right now and you have not seen or heard this wonderful video, you can go to Heidi's Twitter at momsvkids, which is an awesome Twitter handle. I can't believe that wasn't taken. It's got over almost 1,300 likes already, over 150 retweets and quote tweets. You've gained like 100 followers today.
About 200.
200 now.
Awesome.
Oh my God. I must have got in around the 100 mark. Well, you got 3 out of us, but anything you'd like to plug, anything you want to say while you're on here with us?
The biggest thing right now is the Colts franchise doing the Kick the Stigma campaign, all about mental health awareness, which is so wonderful. And especially something like what happened today with me, and when you put that out there, all the hate that can come with it, and being able to say, you know what, I am part of this organization. I'm proud that I am a Colts fan because they care about people. And so they are at 50,000, I think, right now, up that they have raised. I donated. I think that you should too. And if you do something fun, like if I donate a certain amount, who wants to match? I know my friend did that. So a great way for everybody to be involved in something like that and to be able to start talking about it.
Yeah, that's awesome. We will definitely be tweeting some of that stuff out too, and likely donating ourselves, Andrew, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's a great cause, and seeing how many, just the great things that the Irsay family has started with this, and as many Colts players and Colts fans that I've seen have really rallied around this. It's absolutely fantastic, and it's something I think it's not up for debate. It's something we can all get behind and something we can all really contribute to as well.
Yes, and this guy right here,
hey,
Maniac, he's my fave.
I've got a 53 jersey.
Same here.
It's authentic, awesome. And it came and it had a tear in it already. And this guy bought it for me from eBay, and so we couldn't get it returned. So now I just have a really I have a really cool blue stitch in it now. So it just looks like it's only mine. I think it's kind of neat.
Exactly. That's exactly what that is now.
All righty, Heidi. You can stay on with us here for a second after we send you off. But ladies and gentlemen, Heidi REYBROUCK.
All right. Andrew, you didn't get to hear one lick of that. So hopefully you remember. Average interview on us. We don't do a lot, but, she was definitely a little nervous at first. I'll be honest, I was a little nervous at first. So not my best performance, but overall she was awesome. She definitely warmed up. We had a lot of fun. I think she enjoyed being on with us. But yeah, good interview. I'm glad she came on.
Love that she was rocking the Darius Leonard jersey.
Oh yeah,
there.
I felt bad for. Honest to God, I felt bad for not throwing on some Colts stuff too, because she comes on and she's in a jersey and she just had to have been like, oh, they don't wear their Colts stuff during their Colts podcast. Like,
yeah, she definitely outshined us there.
Heidi, if you're watching, thank you again. Happy Mother's Day. We loved having you on, and we're glad. We're glad that you came on. My aunt Vonda is commenting about my cool blue stitch that I told Heidi about on my jersey because she's the one that stitched it. Shout out to her. Happy Mother's Day to her. So yeah, anything else you want to talk about on the interview? I thought it was cool.
Yeah,
Let us know what you
awesome.
thought.
And I mean, a lot of times when you get interviews, it's like someone that's an insider or a player, but I mean, we're the educated fans. So we're Colts fans. It's good to have other Colts fans on there.
Yeah. And
the way she expresses her fandom is just so, I think, unique, and how she puts herself out there. It was awesome. And it kind of sucks because she did receive some hate on Twitter this week from a bunch of idiots that honestly, it's like, we're all Colts fans. Like, who cares how you how you show your fandom. We have got a podcast. That's how we show it. I got season tickets to that. I'm screaming at games and making a fool out of myself. She is using one of her talents. So it doesn't matter how you show your fandom, as long as we're cheering on the Colts. Who really cares? I thought that was just kind of low. But when you got fans like us and really all Colts Nation rallying around her to show support, it was really cool. So glad she was able to come on. She was awesome.
And I do it by literally Skylar is always shitting on me. Like, if I don't wear anything Colts, like just around him, he's surprised. So I'm just constantly in Colts stuff. And I show my support at games by just getting absolutely hammered and yelling at people ridiculously. Colts win, Colts win. All right, Andrew. We're not done with all the fun on this episode, so let's keep it rolling here. Real quick, we'll go through some news around the league here. Anything? What do we got first here? 5th-year options picked up.
Yeah, so there was a few 5th-year options that were picked up, and a lot of them were pretty obvious. So the Bills picked up Josh Allen and Tremaine Edmonds, obviously. Falcons wide receiver Calvin Ridley, and the Patriots with Isaiah Wynn, and all starters, all entrenched in their teams. So it was a pretty easy decision for all 4 of those guys.
Yeah, I'd call that one obvious. Personally. Now here's the fun list for me, Andrew. 5th-year options decline. Man, I sound like a real piece of shit when I put it that way, don't I? But seriously, this is fun. Bengals center Billy Price. Don't know anything about him. This is the only fun one. Cowboys linebacker Leighton Vander Esch. 5th-year option, not picked up.
You like it because
best linebacker in the league is a rookie. Best rookie linebacker. Blah 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 blah.
There was a lot of talk about how he was better than Darius Leonard that first year, and Darius Leonard comes out and breaks every rookie linebacker record pretty much. Gets Defensive Player of the Year,
most tackles in the league.
When the Colts played the Cowboys, Darius Leonard had a monster performance. He did Vander Esch's celebration, and look, now Darius Leonard's going to reset the linebacker market when he gets his extension here probably in a couple months, and Vander Esch might not even be back on the Cowboys next year. It's
that'd be a damn shame if they lost Sean Lee and Vander Esch in over the span of a year. Falcons
they got Michael Parsons though.
Falcons tight end Hayden Hurst. This one is kind of a surprise to me. The only do they just leave that one out because they're going to re-sign him to a longer deal? Because a year ago, 2 years ago, I guess now, with the Ravens, he had the most touchdowns out of any tight end in the league.
Falcons just drafted Kyle Pitts. So
that's fucking true.
Kyle Pitts is going to be one of the best tight ends in the league here probably a year or two. Hayden Hurst, I first I was thinking, hey, he could be the receiving tight end option for the Colts, but they got Kylan Granson. I think that's who they're going to go with this rookie at SMU. So, I'm pretty certain that because of Kyle Pitts, that's why his option wasn't picked up.
Yeah, I got to break this habit of looking up at the screen I have Discord on and talking to you because that's where our faces are biggest. And I gotta keep it down here. Keep it down here. Jaguars defensive lineman, Taven Bryan. Patriots running back, Sony Michel.
He started out hot, but the Patriots, he's pretty much fallen out of the rotation. I don't even know if he'll make the roster this year.
That's honestly just kind of running backs for the Patriots, though. Mm-hmm, you remember that one guy that had like 57 touchdowns in one game and then he never played again?
Jonas Gray.
Us. Yeah, against us. It was miserable. I mean,
I don't know how I still remember that name. But
I once you said it, I was like, yep, that's the one. But Seahawks running back Rashad Penny. That one comes as a surprise. They were really excited to draft him when they did. I remember
they were, but I think because of Chris Carson's emergence, I think they want to put the ball more in Russ's hands anyway. So
they better. Steelers defensive back Terrell Edmonds. Yikes, that's got to hurt a brother's heart, huh? Him and his brother, one gets the 5th year, one doesn't. Vikings cornerback Mike Hughes. So that's the 5th year news, and I did thoroughly enjoy getting to say Leighton Vander Esch's name. I'm not ashamed. That's fine. Some other news here, Andrew. Ravens sign, which we expected, offensive tackle Alejandro Villanueva to a 2-year, $14 million deal. Sometimes I wonder if you leave news in here from the week before, but it's just that I predicted it. the week before.
Well, it was pretty much known that he was going to sign with the Ravens once Orlando Brown got traded.
Yeah.
And I mean, there was some rumblings. Oh, are the Colts going to go after him? I heard the Colts weren't really interested in him in the first place.
Broncos, I think, tried to steal him away from the Ravens.
So, but yeah, he'll go to Baltimore now, and from Pittsburgh to Baltimore. So that'll be a fun matchup to watch.
From sea to shining sea. That's not true. That's just real close. Hey, I'm going from one sea to the other shining sea soon.
Yeah.
Hey guys,
Seattle.
I'm moving to Seattle for 3 months at least. Good time of year to be in Seattle. It doesn't rain 6 out of 7 days a week during the summer. So that's a positive. Moving along. Lions signed center Frank Ragnow to a 4-year, $54 million extension, highest paid center in the league. Sorry, Ryan Kelly, it got outdid.
Ryan Kelly was the highest paid center for, I don't know, maybe 6 months. And then Corey Linsley signed that deal in free agency. Now Ragnow gets his extension, so he's now the 3rd highest paid center in the league.
Yep. So that's news around the league. Here comes the fun. This is number
Brandon's
one.
Been looking forward to this.
Number one or number two most fun thing. I don't know. Interviewing Heidi was really cool. Listen, Big J journalism, star in the making, Heidi REYBROUCK. We hit her up right away. My idea. By the way, I secured this interview. I did.
There you go.
That was all me. So
Jake, you get Heidi.
Yes, that's true. And then Randall was around, Randall came to hang out. So we're going to do basically a Disney draft. Okay. So we're going to go through 8 positions each, I think 8 positions each.
Yeah.
And basically we went back and forth, picked a player for a quarterback, running back, wide receiver, offensive line, defensive line, linebacker, defensive back, kicker, and we did this in no particular order. Andrew had the first pick, and we're going to go right into it with the first pick, Andrew.
So disclaimer, we only did animated characters. So remember the Titans is a Disney movie. We just remember the Titans players. So the number one overall pick.
That's because the number one overall pick would beat them on his own.
In the Disney draft, the educated fan version, quarterback Hercules. This man's got an absolute cannon. He's a god. So that I had leadership skills, unbelievable. So he's gonna be a great guy for the locker room. He's my quarterback, number one overall.
He's a great guy for the locker room. You're right. That's a great way to put it. Hey, Andrew, just so you know how I have it set up. I forgot to send you a picture earlier. Hercules, quarterback. From Hercules. I have. So the first one kind of looks stupid right off the bat here. We got Hercules, quarterback Hercules. But from here on out, it's not too bad. So yeah, Hercules was a good pick, Andrew. I was thinking Hercules as like a linebacker to like really knock you out, or running back.
He's got a laser rocket arm.
Pick number 2. Andrew took my first pick as well. Would have been my Hercules, my number 1. So I went to the running back position. Pick number 2 in the Disney draft. I chose Dash, running back out of The Incredibles. Obvious choice here.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, just to lock him up.
He was my number 1 running back prospect in this year's draft as well. Kid can fly.
Okay. And number 3 pick, Andrew moves along to the defensive side of the football. Andrew.
So you need a guy that can go after the passer. And who's the scariest guy out there? James P. Sullivan, or Sully, defensive lineman for Monsters Inc. This dude has incredible bend. He's got really long arms, can go and tackle the quarterback. He's going to be the next Reggie White. I got a feeling.
Oh, that's perfect. That's an excellent pick. I like that one a lot. Andrew, with the 4th pick in the draft, I chose absolute fucking monster, Buzz Lightyear, to the rescue. defensive back from Toy Story. With this guy in your backfield, or defensive backfield, I should say, are you kidding me? He flies to the ball. And that's all I gotta say.
That's one barrel-chested defensive back if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, he's coming to put you down too. If you manage to catch the ball, you're getting a freaking F-15 into your dome. Andrew, fifth pick.
Fifth pick, I went defense side of the ball, and we're going with the literal beast, the beast from Beauty of the Beast, the linebacker. Guy can roam all around your second level, and just he's a solid pick, makes tackles all over the place. You want a fierce guy in that linebacking core, and that's what the beast is.
Fantastic. Now, this pick, not only is this man going to be the best tackler in the league, okay, but this pick absolutely fucking pissed Andrew off, which is why I enjoyed it the most. With the sixth pick in the 2021 Disney draft, Simba, linebacker out of The Lion King. He is indeed the Lion King. This dude, he's going to be year one best tackler in the league. I've seen him put Nala down. I've seen him put Pumbaa down, okay? And then obviously just gets rid of Scar, so yeah, I went ahead with that pick, and then Andrew piggybacked off of it with this next one.
I had to get this one because I knew you might have been coming for him again, so I went defense again, getting that rock solid defense. So my defensive back is the true Lion King, Mufasa from The Lion King. The guy, he's got agility. He's got that leadership. I went with like a kind of like a Cam Chancellor hybrid defensive back. So a guy that's big but can make plays. He's solid in coverage. Mufasa is going to be roaming my secondary.
My nephew Bradley is thrilled with our draft picks so far. Big fan of Dash and Sully. So pick 2 and 3. Big fan. Yeah, Andrew, you definitely didn't go with the speed defensive back option here. Otherwise, he'd have been able to outrun, gazelles? Whatever he got trampled by.
He outran the wildebeest. He just got trampled.
The wildebeest, that's correct.
We don't need to talk about that. I don't want to start bursting into tears on our show.
All right, with the 8th pick, I'm not really happy with a couple of my picks. Like, thinking back, I could have subbed either position in or out here. But I'll stand by this one. 8th pick of the draft, Kronk, defensive lineman out of the Emperor's New Groove. Seems like this nice, sweet flower, Kronk does, But then when it comes down to time to lay down the law, he's like DeForest Buckner, sweetest dude on camera, and then he's going to turn around and wreck your ass on the field. So I went with Kronk, absolute unit. Andrew, this next pick is hilarious.
So my next pick, the number 9th pick, I need a guy to catch those bullets from Hercules. So we're going with Air Bud. This dude literally has a movie called Air Bud Golden Receiver. This man was built to be the next Jerry Rice. Air Bud, he's got great agility. He's a great route runner, and he just doesn't drop anything. So Air Bud, my receiver 1.
So I went ahead with the 10th pick. Andrew followed suit, went wide receiver. Now this one came down to a couple different people, but I stand by my pick of the genie, wide receiver out of Aladdin. Need I say more? The dude flies. Okay, I went with the art of flight, with the skill of flight in this draft as much as I could. Really, not to mention he can just, body people with his hands at the line of scrimmage. You can make him go giant, big, push him to the side. He's breaking open, right? So, Genie, great pick. Going to go down as one of the more underrated picks in this draft, I think.
Yeah, but I think my defensive back Mufasa would make his 3 wishes really quick, and then let old Genie go back into the bottle and then lock him up so no one can rub him again. So gonna have a little trouble there. Pick number 11. So I went
great pick.
This one was I had to build my offensive line. I can't believe I waited this long since I'm a big proponent of the offensive line. But man, this unit was still on the board. Maui, offensive lineman from Moana. This dude, he just screams offensive lineman, from the tribal tats, from just how big this dude is. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's voice. can't go wrong with Maui as your offensive lineman plowing the way. He's literally the cartoon version of Quentin Nelson.
I did think of this guy. I didn't know his name, to be honest with you. I've only seen Moana once, I think. But I was like, well, The Rock plays this dude. Are you kidding me? Yeah, that's a win. That's a good pick. Pick 12. The absolute steal of the draft. The genius behind this pick. I mean, I think I put Andrew in a box. He didn't have an argument against it.
Oh, I got an argument here.
Oh, but buddy, the sheriff comes to town. Woody, quarterback out of Toy Story, okay? They might look like noodle arms, but the dude can sling the pill. And did I mention the sheriff? Know any other sheriffs, Andrew? Pretty sure that's what Peyton Manning was called. Need I say more? He's the leader in Toy Story. 4 movies. Okay? 4 movies, Andrew. Do you have 4 movies? I don't think so. And neither does Hercules. He only has 1, even though it's the best Disney movie of all time. Only 1 movie. 4 Woody movies, okay? And he's the leader in all of them.
But the thing is, Woody's got some durability issues. You think about in Toy Story 2, he had to get his arm repaired twice. This man has had shoulder surgery. He moves it along. This man's had shoulder surgery twice. I don't respect his durability. I think that pushed him down my board.
Oh my gosh, he pushed him down the board, Andrew. All right, moving along to your next pick.
All right,
go ahead.
My next pick, this one was tough. So I also needed a speed back out there. So I went with Frozone, running back from The Incredibles. Now this guy, I needed a running back because when you're thinking about when the running game is best, it's in the snow. It's in those times, late December, you're relying on your running game. This dude can literally run on ice. You can't stop this man.
I love the running in the snow thought. Now, Andrew, I've got an absolute problem for you on the offensive line with the 14th pick. I picked Ursula, offensive lineman out of The Little Mermaid. Who'd have seen it coming? Not only is this woman an obvious unit, all right. Quentin Nelson sees this woman. He's running the other way. She's got tentacles. Okay. So not only is she large and in charge, she can block multiple defensive rushers at the same time on her own. We can just use those extra defenders to cover. We're good.
A lot of holding penalties I saw in her tape, so that kind of scared me away from her. A lot of holding penalties.
It's those
tentacles.
Those fucking suction cups on the bottom. Okay, and our last 2 picks, Andrew. I know this is a great idea by me. Thank you. Pick 15.
Pick 15. We save the best for last. Kickers are people too. So I took Maximus. From Tangled. This horse has got one hell of a boot. He can make it from long range, deadly accurate, and he's a guy that's very determined. So you need someone that's not going to crack under pressure. Maximus is my guy.
Good pick. I told you to pick. I gave you a horse idea. I gave you a llama idea. So you went with a different horse idea. I would have went with the magical horse Pegasus from Hercules, but I don't know. I don't know. Maybe you just wanted a different movie. I respect that.
The dude, if you watch Tangled, the dude's got a cannon for a leg, so he makes some pretty big kicks in that.
I don't blame you. This is already a very heavy Incredibles draft, Toy Story and Lion King. I respect you for not throwing another Hercules. I mean, spreading the love through the Disney movies.
Yeah, absolutely.
The Moana one, that was a good one. My kicker, Mr. Incredible from The Incredibles.
Got a big kicker.
Listen. So here's the thing. Here's the problem. Here's where I can. Once I pick who'd I pick first? My linebacker or my defensive lineman first? My linebacker.
Yeah.
Or my defensive lineman. Either one. I could have gone Mr. Incredible here. He's about the only other guy in the Disney universe, animated wise, that could tackle Hercules probably.
Hey, position versatility. You got some depth.
Hey, you know what? Maybe Kronk gets hurt. We bring in the kicker as backup. But if we're stopped on 3rd down, doesn't matter where we are. We're not punting. We can clearly kick the ball the distance. So Mr. Incredible, not a bad pick. A couple of other honorable mentions. I had Quasimodo, the Hunchback, for offensive line that I almost picked before I thought of Ursula, which was absolutely genius. Had to get some women in the draft. Don't want to leave the ladies out. And then Peter Pan and Aladdin for wide receiver also would have been great picks. Do you have any honorable mentions that you almost used that you didn't end up using?
So my honorable mentions are, one was it's a pick out of left field, the Seven Dwarfs. So you take all the seven dwarfs. You can line them up at a bunch of different positions. Okay, so you're not only are you getting.
Do you count the Seven Dwarfs as one position?
No, okay. We're getting all seven to.
Do you have the positions? Do you have the positions?
No. That I thought about it, but I was like, that'd be too much time. But the Seven Dwarfs are on there, and then you got to think about if I'm gonna go for a woman, I'm definitely going Jessie from Toy Story.
Yeah,
she could do pretty much anything. So those are a couple of my honorable mentions.
Jessie, though, you pick her and you're in a box again for shit talking Woody for being too fragile.
See, Jessie's gonna get in Woody's head. So that's part of the mental game, part of the mental aspect of it
too. You know what I mean?
Jesus.
And hell is where I'm going. So I had to go into the Disney draft. Is that it? Are we done?
That's it.
What an episode. What an absolute
fun.
Awesome episode. Disney draft was a fun idea. Glad we got to squeeze that in. Andrew and I have not talked about our plans for these upcoming 2 weeks. So we will release some news on that. You know what, Andrew? Yeah. Let's open the door to the process. Andrew, I am traveling to Indiana this weekend. I'm not confident in our ability to do a live stream due to all the equipment and internet needs. So these next 2 weekends are probably going to be podcasts only, but Andrew and I should be able to record together.
Yeah, so that'll be fun.
So maybe no podcast episodes. Maybe we still record.
Maybe no YouTube episodes.
And maybe we could still record and I can still just post as a video
just
later.
Wouldn't be a live stream.
Just wouldn't be a live stream. Okay. We might be able to pull that off.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can pull that off probably. Okay. Just thought of that now. So, and here's the process, guys. This is how we do things. This is how the cookies are made. Or what's the phrase?
I don't know where you were going with that.
This is how the pizza is made in the kitchen. You just throw in the ingredients. And then my weekend where I travel to Seattle, we might have to take a break. Might have a week break. Might have to pre-record an episode to post for our first episode because of the Fired Up Network that we're joining. Would hate to have to miss the first week of them being live, so maybe we'll pre-record something. I don't know. But just be on the lookout on our socials. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, at the Educated Fan. That's at THEEHDUCATEDFAN. That is where you can stay up to date on all of the things we're doing over here at the Educated Fan. And I think until next time, boys and girls, go Colts.
Go Colts.
I fucking love football and I love you guys.